Okay, so here's a little story for you. Story time. You ready? Story time here on the How to Podcast series. Welcome, by the way. I'm glad you're here. I had a boss in a corporate job with lots of corporate people around in a big office for a large retailer, let's put it that way. And my boss would have a team meeting every week to get the group together. There were 4 of us there with him. And the one week he's like, okay, guys, everybody come with a new idea, what we can do better, blah, blah, blah. And we went around the table. My turn was last. I shared my idea with the team and my boss in the meeting. And my boss discredited it in front of everybody and said, no, it's not a great idea, Dave. You should try it better, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, wow, I thought my idea was pretty good. My boss then gets up from that meeting, goes to his boss in the same building, in the same, like a few doors down, and then presents my idea to his boss as his own idea. Excuse me? And his boss loved it. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, it was the best idea ever. And he came back to our meeting the following week and said, okay, so here's what we're going to do. And he repeated my idea, which I shared in front of the rest of the team. And they all heard it for the first time from my mouth. And he's like, this is what we're going to do, blah, 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 blah. And they all looked at me in the meeting as my boss was repeating my idea, which he said was no good, as the new focus for the team. And we will now work this way and go after this new target. And I had 0 credit in that moment for my idea. Has this ever happened to you? Come on, put your hand up if this has happened to you. Have you ever come up with this amazing idea and thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I came up with this. I scared myself because I would have never thought of this. And you're shocked and excited and nervous and overwhelmed and confused and lots of other words. And then, so you say, okay, let's put it in podcasting terms. You come up with this great idea for a podcast. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I get to talk about blah, blah, blah. And you're like, I'm going to be the best. It's going to be the best podcast about blah, blah, blah there ever has been. And then you find out there's 25 other podcasts on the exact same topic. And you're like, oh, I guess my idea wasn't that great. I'll just put that on the shelf and I guess I won't do it. I won't do anything. Now, let's jump over to your 6 o'clock and 11 o'clock news. Happens every day. The news stories, they come on, and they all pull from the same well. Doesn't matter what news channel you listen to. I know in America, you guys have some interesting back and forth between news channels. In Canada, we still have the same. We have the government-run news stations and then all the other ones that don't add up. Anyway, they all pull from the exact same news events of the day, but all kind of presented in little slightly different ways. They're kind of like a bunch of different podcasts. So even though you are doing something that's similar or exactly the same as someone else, your idea is your idea, and you are you. The one thing that nobody can copy is you. It's impossible. The way you think, how you've been raised, your point of view, your passion, your disdain for things, your opinion and attitude are completely yours and no one can copy it. Not even a computer. So when you decide to do something that may be the same as someone else, don't worry that you're talking about a similar topic. There are a bazillion How to Podcast podcasts out there. There's only one How to Podcast series with Dave Campbell because there's only me. And I haven't found another replacement for me, so there's just me. And thank you for hanging out with me, by the way. Even though there's so many other ones, my perspective is my perspective. And the way I approach this in not talking about all the tech stuff, I don't really care about the 25 different types of microphones. I really don't care. Really. Just get a microphone. If you need help finding one, I can help you. But really, that's just kind of boring. So I'm not here about the tech. I'm here about getting you started and helping you grow, and you grow as well as a person. And even though there are so many other How to Podcast podcasts out there, you can still come with a creative edge because you are a creative person and no one can copy you. They might steal your idea. They might claim it's theirs. It happens in life. It happens in business. There's a lot of people out there that are kind of, not the best people. And when you're not creative, you steal. So how do you get ahead of that, Dave? How do you stay positive when somebody steals your idea? Just be more creative than they are. That's all. Just come up with a way that you can come up with more ideas. And if you just out-idea your competition, they aren't your competition. They'll follow. They'll copy, paste. They'll try to do whatever you're doing. And, look at John Lee Dumas and the whole Entrepreneur on Fire. There's like a bazillion on fire podcasts now. How to Podcast series on fire. Recipes on fire. All these kind of stuff, right? So, people will copy. People will come and follow behind you and try to soak up some of your genius. Don't worry about them. Focus on what's ahead of you. Forget the rearview mirror and just create what you create for the audience that you have, because even your competition can't take your audience away from you. You can give away your audience, but no one's going to take them because your audience shows up for you. And the one way, I'll leave you with this, the one way to know that you will grow your audience and maintain growth and get to where you want to be is a very simple thing. Don't stop. The moment you stop creating podcasts and episodes, and the moment you stop reaching out to your audience and building community and celebrating your small audience, is the moment that you will stop growing, and that's the moment when everything's done. Don't stop. Focus on your audience. Continue to grow. And if somebody steals your idea, come up with 10 more. I know it hurts. I know it sucks. But just remember that even though you have an idea that someone else has and you share that, look to those other people who are in your space and find inspiration from them. Listen to their podcasts. Find out what they're doing well and go, hey, that's really smart. I like that. I can maybe do something similar. Find out what they're not talking about. That's why I started this podcast, because there's all these other podcasts and they're so heavily focused on all these different areas, but there's really nobody kind of flying below the radar and addressing some of the things that help new podcasters with simple, easy things that you can put into place. So that's why I'm doing this. And I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad you're listening. And I'm thankful, and I don't take it lightly. And like I mentioned in the podcast episode before this, building community is so important with a small audience. And I love hearing from you. So if you have an idea for a podcast, you're not sure what to do, reach out. Let's have a conversation. And let's chat about your plans and work together. Because I think that's the one way we can be all successful, is helping each other more. And if podcasting was a good illustration of how life should be, I think we'd all be much better off in this world. if we could all just be podcasters, because the community is great. Yes, there'll be those people who will take your idea and run with it as their own and never give you credit. There'll be people who are kind of those little pariahs that kind of come around behind you and steal because they're not creative people. Don't worry about them. They will show their true colors. My boss in that meeting showed his true colors, and everybody knew to keep their best ideas to themselves after that point, because all he was just going to take them anyway. So let people show their true colors, and you will shine bright like a diamond, as Rihanna would say, bright like a diamond. Do it for your team. Do it for your listeners. Do it for your audience. Do it for every person that comes across your path. You got this. And the How to Podcast series is here to help you. And I'm so happy and, again, thankful for you listening. So if you need help, links in the show notes. Reach out. Send me a message. Let's chat. Have a great day. And get out there and do a podcast episode. Come on. Hit record. Try it.